everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kim. If you enjoyed today's content, please consider subscribing and clicking the like button. All the engagement helps my channel to grow. I am super excited to bring you this video. This is inspired by a book fiend named Mel, and her name, the creator's name is Mel. She has invited us to join her in her TBR game called A Roll of Reeds. This starts at midnight on March 1st and goes through March 31st at midnight. This is her birthday month, and she's inviting us to join her, like I said, in her TBR game. I will leave her channel linked down below in her announcement video. She goes through the rules and all of that so much better than I can express it to you, so much better and so much more thoroughly than I can, because this will be my first experience doing this game. So I'm super excited to play it, and I hope you will join me as well along this journey to figure out all the nooks and crannies and just enjoy a new game as well. Because I'm always looking at different ways to enhance my reading enjoyment and bringing something new to you guys and see if you enjoy it as well. I know it is kind of a Dungeons and Dragons inspired type of game, and I know she talked about bringing in more Dungeons and Dragons elements to this game, because she's kind of moved away, I think, from the Roll of Reeds into I think it's something campaign. Roll of Campaigns. I can't remember the exact name of her new game, but she's kind of combining the two together, so we get a little bit of elements of her new game and the elements of her old, so she kind of paired the two together. I know there are two dice involved, a D8 and a D20. So the D8 gets how many books that you have to roll for, and then the D8 is what you actually do the rolls with to get what spaces and all of that. So I'm super excited. And then you have a facts sheet that I'll be referring to once you get the prompts, which I need to go on and shuffle. These are different prompts that she has on the announcement video. She has linked the fact sheet, the prompt cards, the game board. I didn't print out the game board because it's an image file. I just put down, you'll see in a moment, some sticky notes with the number panels that my prompt cards will fit on. And then we'll do the rolls. And then after you get the first roll and you remove the prompt, then you'll replace that prompt card and continue on until you have all your books. I believe if you roll a 1, I think she said it was like a silly move in the D&D game, so you've done something silly to start the game off with. So anytime you get a 1, you have to add a book, from my understanding, to your TBR. And then if you roll a 20, it's kind of like the most excellent thing you could do in the game. From my understanding, I've never played D&D, so you guys can leave me comments down below if that's correct. From what I gather from her video, that's the best move that you could do in a D&D game. So you can do the prompt if you wish. It's kind of like your choice of what you want to do with it. You can get rid of an extra read if you've got multiple books that you've had to add on to your TBR because you've done multiple 1 prompts, or you've gotten multiple, I think 3 times in a row of the same number you had to add on another book. Then that'll be a way that you can knock off some of your books that way too, that you don't want to read, or if you're time crunched and you can't get all of the books on read and you know you're not going to be able to read 15 books in a month, and that would be a way to kind of trim down your TBR. Kind of like your choice of what you want to do if you get a D20 type of scenario. So I am trying to shuffle these cards because they're not on cardstock, or they're not laminated or anything like that. So I'm just trying to gently shuffle them as best I can without looking at them, because a lot of them were kind of all together. Like, I know there was like dwarf cards, wizards, paladins, and all the other stuff. So I'm trying to give them a shuffle and get them in and mixed up. So not like my playing cards that you can just like really shuffle. And then I'm going to just randomly put them down on the board without looking at them, and hopefully I get them good and shuffled, and then shuffle them on the board just randomly. In theory, because there's some interesting prompts when I was cutting them all out. Alright, and so some things and others, hopefully I'll be able to screen record some things that are on the phone. So there's a thing for heart stoppers, which, or when I have to go and look for YouTubers best recommended, those types of things, then I can do that. Maybe screenshot those, because yeah. Alright, give it one more shuffle, and then I'm going to lay them out randomly. So let me get that set up and we will get started. Alright, so this is my game board with the sticky notes. So again, give it a few more shuffles. Alright, so just randomly from the top, just placing them randomly on the board, but I can still somewhat see the numbers. Okay, and we will set these to the side. So our directions say set up the board, determine the D8. So we are going to roll our D8. Whoop. So our D8, hopefully it's going to focus. So our D8, and see how many, and I just bumped the tripod, how many rolls are we going to get? And it says 4. So 4 rolls. You can see that 4 rolls is how many we got. Alright, so first time rolling for this. So potentially, unless we get ones or lots of doubles. Alright, so roll number 1 with the D20 dice right here. So where are we going to land? So prompt number 3, if you guys can see that. So, whoop, prompt number 3. So that was, I'm not good with these dice. This is the first time I've ever used them. So it says, whoop, treat yourself. So I get to buy a book. Not that. All right. As you can see with roll number 1, I got the treat your shelf. Oh, yeah, treat your shelf prompt. I'm not exactly sure what book I want for this one. I recently, like I said, have been looking at some books from BookTube over the weekend, and there was one, Hounded, which is book 1 of the Iron Druids Chronicles by Kevin Hearn. So that's a possibility, but I'm not sure yet. And then there's another one, The Souls of the Lost Lake. It's a dual time cabin psychological thriller. This is by Jamie Jo Wright. So that is a possibility, but I'm not sure yet. So I'm not just wanting to just drop money on books. I'm not sure yet, but I do have this prompt. So I will eventually purchase, but I'm not sure which books I want. And then the third option will be Radiance. It's book 1 from the Wraith Kings. Maybe a trilogy, but it may be a full-blown series. I think there's a couple of authors, Grace Draven and Laura Gasway, but this is the first book out of that one. It looks like it's going to be a romance, fantasy romance style book. So those are 3 options. So those are 3 options that I'm currently looking at that I have put on my Amazon wish list. I'm just not sure yet which of those 3 that I'm most interested in picking up. So like I said, I don't want to waste money yet on books that I'm not quite sure I want. So let's get to roll number 2. All right, roll number 2. See what that is going to get us. Oh, before I do that, let me replace that card. All right, now roll number 2. Now that we've replaced prompt 3. Okay, this is a 2. If it will focus, I don't know if it's going to. I don't think my autofocus likes me. It's a 2. Alright, so prompt 2. A cleric. Cleric prompt. As you saw for roll 2, I ended up with the prompt cleric. So cleric. And on the sheet it says for cleric featuring religion or mythology. And for that I have chosen The Girl the Sea Gave Back by Adrienne Young. And this is what this said, and I believe it's kind of like follows the Norse mythology or Norse God belief system is what I'm taking it as. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below, but that's kind of how my take of the books, the first book, and this is kind of the second duology to it, the second book. And again, forgive me if I mispronounce the names because, yeah, I'm terrible with names. It says, Tova was a child when she was discovered washed ashore in a half-burned boat by the Svel clan. The sacred symbols and staves inked over every inch of her skin marked her not only as a member of the Kyr, but as a truth tongue. The Svel believed her cursed, forsaken by her own people. But Tova's ability to cast the runestones and interpret the web of fate woven by the spinners makes her valuable. Until the day she foresees the Svel's destruction, compelling them to wage war. Across the valley, the rival Aska and Riki clans have lived peacefully for more than 10 years as a new people, the Nadir. But when Svel raiders attack the village's inhabitants, are slaughtered. Halvard believes there may be a way to avoid war. Chosen to be the Nadir's next chieftain, he convinces his elders to negotiate with the Svel before more blood is spilled. His hope for a truce is shattered when the Nadir are deceived by their enemy and ambushed without mercy. But there is more to Tova's prophecy than bloodshed. As long as Halvard lives, his people have a future. And if what Tova sees in the runes is true, her own path is interwoven with his. Now she must find the courage to free herself from the only family she's ever known to fulfill her own fate. So again, that's what I'm going to choose for the cleric. So it seems like there's God, mythology kind of woven in with their belief system with this book. So, yeah. So that is my first book. True book on it, since I don't know what I'm picking up for that other prompt. Alright, off to roll number 3. Alright, so let us replace prompt 2 and get that there. So roll number 3, and let us see what that's going to have in store for us. And 11. Maybe it will focus. I cannot tell. If I bring it close, it's definitely not going to focus. So an 11. So where is, right here. This is a druid prompt. Druid. So as you saw with roll number 3, I got the druid prompt, and let's see what druid prompt has for me. So it says, features an animal in some capacity. Could be a book where the characters are personified animals. Could be a character has an animal companion. Could be a mythical creature is part of the story. So somehow has a mythical character woven some way, some fashion on the cover, in the story, in some way. Alright, so for that prompt I am choosing Onyx and Ivory by Mindy Arnett. For those of you who are unfamiliar with this was on BookTube a long time ago, and I am finally getting around to it. So they call her Trader Kate. It's a title Kate Brighton inherited from her father after he tried to assassinate the High King of Rhyme. Cast out of the nobility, Kate now works for the Royal Courier Service. Only the most skilled rider for the relay and only the fastest survive, for when night falls, the night drakes, deadly flightless dragons, come out to hunt. Fortunately, Kate has a secret edge. She is a wilder, born with forbidden magic that allows her to influence the minds of animals. And it's this magic that leads her to a caravan massacred by drakes in broad daylight. The only survivor, Corwin Tormain, the son of the king. Her first love, the boy she swore to forget after he condemned her father to death. When their paths once more entangle, Kate and Corwin must put the past behind them to face this new threat and an even darker menace stirring in the kingdom. So this is for the prompt Druid. And now onto our fourth and final roll. Alright, let us replace that prompt. Alright, and our fourth and final, so our fourth and final prompt. This is a 6, I believe. A 6. Okay. So number 6. So this is a buddy read or book club. Okay. And as you saw for our fourth roll, we landed on buddy read or book club. So buddy read or book club. For this I'm choosing my own book club or book buddy read. And for March, we are starting the Kingdom of the Wicked series. This is by Carrie Maniscalco. So I am putting this on there for my buddy read with my own book club to fulfill this prompt. And if you're interested, you can join us, and I'll leave my book club down below if you want to join us for this read. And if you've already read it, you can join us for a reread of it. All are welcome. So for this, if you're not familiar with what this one is about, it says Amelia and her twin sister Victoria are Stry witches who live secretly among humans, avoiding notice and persecution. One night, Victoria misses dinner service at the family's renowned Sicilian restaurant. Amelia soon finds the body of her beloved twin, desecrated beyond belief. Devastated, Amelia sets out to find her sister's killer and to seek vengeance at any cost, even if it means using dark magic that's been long forbidden. Then Amelia meets Wrath, one of the wicked, princes of hell she has been warned against in tales since she was a child. Wrath claims to be on Amelia's side, tasked by his master with solving a series of women's murders on the island. But when it comes to the wicked, nothing is as it seems. And it's got a beautiful, beautiful map. Love, love, love that. Okay, on the inside cover. Yes. So for this roll of reads for March, these are my books, except for one book that I have no idea for the Treat Your Shelf. But these are my reads. So yeah, it actually treated me very, very well. So I am ecstatic on that. So if you are joining Mel from a book fiend named Mel, leave me comments down below. I'll be very interested in knowing if you are participating in her birthday game that she is doing on her channel. So, and until my next video, you guys, happy reading as usual. Bye guys.